Hello, everybody, and welcome to Series Theory Episode 4. Oh man, I can't believe we're already to this point. And today we are going to talk about my abilities. Exciting. So, when I was 3 years old or two, whenever I started talking, I was at my grandmother's house. And my mom was there with her, and they have a basement. So I went downstairs, and I was down there for quite a while, I guess. And when I came back upstairs, I told them, "Hey, grandma's downstairs." And my mom looked at my grandma and was like, "No, grandma's right here." And I said, "No, not that one, the one who died." And that is the first time that everything started happening. From there, so basically at a young age, I had this sight. So I can physically see apparitions, spirits, ghosts, all of those things. When I got older, that gift kind of diminished because of the ego and being kind of scared of those things and people conditioning you a certain way. But I still had the feeling. And what I mean by feeling is that I could have a sense that somebody was around me and things would happen. So either when I was in the room, my sister's or brother's toys would go off by itself. We had this horse. We ended up having to throw it outside because it just would randomly go off and the batteries were fine. Batteries was fine. There was no short. My dad was like really handyman, very savvy when it comes to that stuff. And it just constantly went off. And I always remember like feeling like somebody was always right behind me. And when I was about like 6, I would remember always kind of like looking over my shoulder, but nobody would be there. But I swore out of the corner of my eye, I seen somebody watching me. So I still had part of that sight and the knowing. One time, my mom was on the phone and I couldn't sleep. I've struggled with insomnia for years. And they even said I didn't sleep well as a baby, so nothing really has changed much. But I came downstairs and she was just talking, and that's back when, you know, they had the landline and the cord hooked to the wall. So she had a really long cord and she was just kind of rocking in her rocking chair. And I was sitting on the couch and there was a closet door right in front of me, like 10 feet away, 20 feet. And wasn't thinking anything, like just kind of just staring off into space because I couldn't sleep and I was tired. And I was just listening to the background noise of my mom when all of a sudden that door flew wide open as fast and as hard as it could. And let me tell you something, I was on my mom in 2.2 seconds. Like that freaked me out. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, like how did that happen? From there, it kept pretty or consistent. It stayed very consistent. Um, and the only other experiences that was very significant that I can remember is when I was in fourth grade. When I was in fourth grade, I was sitting at my desk and I noticed like everything kind of turned into a blur and I couldn't see anybody's faces anymore. And I didn't think time, it like felt like time just stood still. And I remember looking at my hands and I was like, oh my God, I have fingers. And I moved them around and I was all, and they move. Like you think this is a crazy person, but I was in fourth grade. And what fourth grader all of a sudden just thinks that way? And so I'm sitting there and and I remember touching my desk and remembering what it feels like having that cold, um, fake wood, that plaster stuff those old school desks. And I was like, okay, I can feel it. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm alive. Oh, I'm breathing. Do I know how to breathe? And I panicked for a second because I forgot for a second I thought I forgot how to breathe. And for the rest of the day, I can't tell you what happened. I don't remember anything else about that day, only that very moment, and that was it. And I was sitting in class, and it wasn't until I was much older when my grandma, she came into her ability, me and her started asking questions. Now, we did live in a very old house with my mom and my stepdad, and tons of freaky stuff happened all the time. And I could see things and hear things. And at that point in time, I was just super scared. I didn't know what was going on, but I wasn't the only one seeing and hearing things, so I didn't really patch it up to anything other than like this house is haunted and it's legitly scary. And so we just kind of carried on. But after my mother had passed away, I had moved in my dad with this house, and oh my gosh, that's the first time I'd ever seen an apparition, and I told you guys about that. And one of the scariest times I had besides seeing that, I was on my computer, and that's back when you had dial-up. I feel like I'm old saying that, by the way, guys. That was back when we had dial-up, and I had my dog Jake on me, and I kept feeling like somebody was in the doorway because the computer was against the wall and the door was right behind us. And I kept looking back, and finally I just couldn't take it anymore. I was like, okay, I'm done on the computer. Somebody is here with me. Somebody is watching me. So, um, I went and laid on the couch. Uh, for some reason, I did not want to go in my room. I was like scared of my room just that night, and I have no idea why, which I could sleep in my room any other time, so it was weird. And I go and lay on the couch, and I have my dog with me, and I'm slowly starting to fall asleep, and somebody banged as hard as they could on that front door. And I jumped up and I paused because sometimes my dad's buddies would come over in the middle of the night and stuff, but nobody came through. And we had two windows that you could see if somebody walked by, and nobody walked by. So it kind of creeped up, and I looked through the little side mirror or side window, and nobody was there. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm getting freaked out now." Ah, you know. And I go to my room. I put Jake in his kennel, and I was laying there, and finally I was starting to feel calm and feel relaxed. And I remember I was still kind of awake, but just getting in that relaxed mode, and my eyes were closed, and I started getting into a dream state. And in that dream state, somebody put their hand out like this, and I put my hand in theirs, and they were guiding me, and I could feel when all of a sudden I felt like somebody tugged on my arm, and my eyes flipped open, and my hand was being guided like this, and that motion that's like somebody pulling you out. I was 15 years old, and I got so scared that I ran downstairs and slept with my dad. And I know at the time when I told you about the operation, I was downstairs, but this is when I was upstairs. And I think this is around the time when I was like, I want to move downstairs. I don't want to be upstairs anymore. And I slept with my daddy that night. I was so scared. Throughout high school, um, I just ignored everything for the most part. I was a teenager. My sophomore, junior, senior years, had better things to do than to hear things and see things. And so I kind of like blocked it out for the most part. And then after I graduated high school, I started to get back interested in it again. And I think that's around the time that my grandma wrote her first book. And so I was like, well, maybe I'm similar to her, because in her book, she said that I had the ability to, except when I get older, either I'm gonna be just as good as her, if not better. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know about that. And as time went on, I would go to my grandma's house, and I started asking questions, and then she would ask me questions, and we started just kind of practicing, like working with the other side. And I did that for a long period of time. And I never came out to anybody. I was worried not about, friends or anything like that. I was worried about what my family would think, and that they'd think I'm crazy. And that was just drama that I didn't want right then and there. Like, I had a lot going on in my little life, and I just wanted to keep it hidden for a long, long, long time. Until I turned 29, and all of a sudden, I looked at my ex-husband at the time and I said, I can heal you, right? And he looked at me all crazy and he goes, well, I know you know things because I, confided in him and stuff. And I'm all, no, no, I can heal you. Like, I can do that. I can see how I can do that. And it just took off from there. And the minute I accepted who I was, what I can do, I felt completely at home and I felt safe. Let's get into my abilities. So I started my business. I first started off with tarot, just kind of easing into it, gaining that confidence and everything. And then I moved to healing. And at that time it was all in person, and we back before COVID even existed. It was all in person. I was just putting my hand over them, and my hand, I could sense like a heavy feeling in my hand, and I knew that would be the area that I would have to work on. At that point in time, I couldn't see with my third eye, or I didn't have that quite awakened yet. So that's how I did it for about 4 months. And then I had a major spiritual awakening, or growing, you should say, because I think we're in a process of always being awoken. It's kind of complicated, but we'll just say spiritual awakening for now. And I learned how to channel. And that is when they opened up my third eye and I could see things. I remember laying in bed and like I just get downloaded information of someone just speaking through me. And I was on the phone with my friend Amy at the time and I was just telling her everything. And then it would stop and I would just sit there and feel so tired. I'm like, when is this going to stop? And then it'd like take over again. And that happened for like an hour. And finally I was able just to kind of shut it off. And I was like, okay, my mind is spent, universe. I don't want to take any more information or downloads anymore. And from there on out, after that, I was able to see holograms of people's makeout. So when I do healings, I can see your hologram. And either it'll show up in an energy form or it'll show up in a basic physical muscles, that sort of thing form. Most of the time, we work with the energy that goes with the emotions, trauma, all of that first. And then once that is healed, then we move over to the physical. And that's just the way that they work things and how I see it. And my brain will basically not create, but show me a vision, the best way for me to interpret what I need to do. And sometimes it's kind of crazy stuff, but I understand what they're saying in order to best help you. So that's with my quantum healing. Now, there is other abilities such as activations. And so I see a hologram again, and it shows me gold and red dots all over your body. And I first have to turn all the dots gold. And then I put you in a field and basically just imagining and create, like looking at your cells, putting light into them. So that's a sort of an activation. And that has to do with energy work as well. Let's see here. So past life, okay, going down the line. So past lives is we are all connected. I really probably should have started with this one first. So let me explain this. When I connect to somebody, people are like, well, how do you do it if they're not in person? Like, I don't understand that. Well, when I go, I close my eyes and I automatically see like streams of light of connection all over the world. And I simply just ask for your connection. So my link goes straight to yours that's connected to universe. So it's like a triangle, okay? And just this energy field that I'm just observing with you, and I'm pulling all information that I need from you, and then spirit tells me what to do, whether it's a message, a healing, activation, past life, whatever it is, like I have connection to all of it. So your past life kind of stream off, and if there's something that's affecting you in this life now, then they'll show me basically a video, a movie of what happened in your past life in order to help you now. So that's how past lives work. You've seen a lot of me do my energy work, and this energy work kind of I've grouped into everything. For your energy fields, the physical healings, we can do cleanses, we can remove attachments, all sorts of things. I just grouped it completely into my energy package. Like that's just kind of it. It's easier than trying to categorize it because people were getting confused, so they didn't know which service they were needing from me. I know it's a lot. I'm sitting here like, okay, did I get everything? It's a lot. And people, the one thing that they're like, what are you? Like, are you psychic? Are you a quantum healer? Are you a medium? And I'm just like, I'm everything. Like, I'm connected to God. He's connected to me, and we just work together. And whatever you want to call me. But I don't want to limit myself ever. Like, if there's more advancing to do, I'll do it. And my abilities have grown tenfold within the past 2 months. And you know why? It's because I've done tons and tons of self work. That's all it is. The more damage that you feel in yourself, the less likely you are to see and understand universe and spirit. So the more that I worked on myself and healed myself and used my own practices, my own gifts on me, the more I advanced. Now I have dreams, premonitions. A lot of premonitions happen in my dreams, and I remember my dreams. So if spirit comes in, a loved one comes in through my dreams, I always try to reach out to the person who the message is for, if they're willing to hear it. That has really amplified within the last 3 days, and truths are coming out. I'm able to, in my dreams, I'm able to actually understand and that I'm aware. So, what I mean by that is I know I'm asleep, and when a spirit comes in, or a past loved one, or anything like that, I understand that they should not be in the dream that's going on right now. And I understand that they passed away. And so I get whatever message that they need to have, and then I wake up. Like I wake myself up and instantly remember and I try to write it down, or I text the person right away if they're open to that kind of thing. So it's quite a trip, this this work. There are many times when I'm just like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Like this sucks sometimes. Like everybody's always asking me for help. Everyone's always wanting something from me, and it can be draining, but I love it. I love helping people. And I know the world is changing, and some of us were just meant for a higher purpose in the world. Doesn't mean I'm better than you. This means that I was meant for something, a harder path, because this is not a cakewalk. What I've been through is not a cakewalk. It has shown me different perspectives on the world that maybe other people don't think. And I know I don't think the same way. Here in my community, no. I live in a very rural, area. It's Wyoming. Well, it's not so much rural, but it's very closed-minded, is the best that I can say. And I challenge the way they do things. I challenge the way they see things. And I won't ever stop. I'm here for a reason and for a purpose. And I know that I'm healing you guys and I'm healing myself at the same time. And together we're going to accomplish great things. But in order to accomplish great things, we have to go through hard stuff. We have to walk that hard path of self realization that some of the stuff we do is self sabotage and that we got to change. It's a hard pill to swallow to know that, hey, I might be the problem. That is a hard, hard pill to swallow. But I strive for more peace and happiness in this world today than I ever have in my entire life. I can tell you that I'm honestly happy. Like I gotta get it all teared up, but I'm happy because I've came so far and I'm so proud of myself that I've healed those traumas. And it was not easy, and it's still not easy. Sometimes it sucks. It really sucks. But I will never give up. I won't give on. I will never give up on me. I'll never give up on my kids. I won't give up on my family, and I won't give up on any of you. I was here for a reason, and I will not stop until it's fulfilled.